Greetings, Red Wolf Nation, and welcome to Inside IU East Sports. I'm Kyle Wright with the IU East Athletic Department. We're so grateful you've joined us this evening. We are at the starting line for the track and field season for IU East, and here to talk about the Red Wolf track and field season, the head coach of the Wolves, Gus Schmader. So, Coach, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So, before we dive in and look ahead to the 2018-19 season, let's take a quick look back. Last year, your first year, the 2017-18 season, you've had about 6 months since last year ended on a good note, I might add. Over those 6 months, just looking back, how would you sum up that first season, your first season here with IU East?
I think that we had a pretty amazing first season. Coming into it, we didn't know what to expect. You know, new location, new school, new athletes having a new coach. But I think once we got to know each other, we started working hard together, and the indoor season ended well. We had a number of conference champions, all conference performances. We also had a national qualifier, and we broke 17 school records indoor. And just thinking back to outdoor, it was much of the same. A lot of PRs, more school records. We had a national qualifier, two-time All-American. So I was pretty impressed with how they performed.
Okay, and we'll meet some of those people that coaches talk about here in a little bit. Now looking ahead to this coming season, which starts just around the corner. You've basically been practicing since school started or working out since school started. What would you say is kind of the personality is this group? What kind of personality have they taken on here in these first few months?
They're pretty excited. I would also say that they're dedicated. So that's something every coach likes to see. They want to see athletes that are dedicated to the sport. You know, they take an interest in it. They understand that it's hard work, but they're there every day ready to put in that work.
Okay. And then, again, it all starts this weekend, December 1st at UIndy, and it'll stretch on basically, hopefully through the end of May, which is when the outdoor nationals are. Looking ahead, this upcoming season, it will be a success to you if blank. How would you fill in that blank?
If we continue to work hard and try to improve on what we've learned, we must stay disciplined, must stay dedicated. The season is long, so we want to make sure that our athletes' heads are in it. If they are, then I feel like this season will be a huge success for us.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and meet the team. We'll start with the men's squad, and we'll kind of break it up by event groups. So we'll just go from shortest events to the longest, starting with your short sprints groups on the men's side.
Well, this group is pretty much a completely new group. Last year, we didn't have anybody really competing in the 60 or the 100. So coming in, it'll be a bunch of freshmen. Everybody's working hard, just competing for their spot. I'm sure there's going to be a few meets where only 3 people can run, and right now we have 5 people that'll be running. I've been pretty impressed with what they've been able to learn and accomplish so far. We have 2 young men from Florida from the same high school, Jamal and Mario. I think they'll do extremely well this season. I would also say the same about Jordan and also about Trent. Trent was somebody that was in the 400 group at first, but I think I'm going to move him down to run the 60 more. He's been progressing. He's been able to learn his drive phase, and he's been pushing off, I'd say, the best out of the group. So I've been impressed with him. Overall, I think that we'll be able to get some people in the conference final, and hopefully we'll get somebody qualified for nationals in the 60.
Okay. Then keeping on the sprints theme, the longer sprint group. Talk about your long sprint group.
Long sprint group, we have the returning 600-meter champion. So Justin was able to win that event last year at the conference meet. He was just off qualifying for indoor nationals, so it's good to have him back. He's definitely been disciplined and dedicated. He's been working hard all fall. He's determined to qualify for nationals, and that's something that I think he's going to be able to do this year, so it's really good to have him back. As far as our 400 runners, it's nice to have more 400 runners now. We have Mitch, who was able to get that 6th place spot at indoor conference meet last year, but we have a few other people that are going to be looking to place a little higher. We have a young man named Will Mundy from Portland, Oregon. He looks like he's going to be a pretty good 400 runner, even though he's a 400 hurdler. We also have Alex Ferguson from Florida. He's a 400 runner who's been doing well. So we have a lot of people in that space, and I think we'll have a little bit of a competition for that 4x4 team this year.
And then break up the running a little bit, the hurdling group, and that's, I know we want to talk about Seth Reynolds, but he's got some help as well.
Yes, so we have Seth and Hayden returning in the hurdles. Both of them were able to place last year at conferences. Seth was able to win the conference meet last year. He also qualified for indoor nationals, and unfortunately, he was 9th place, which is 1 place out of qualifying for the finals. So that stung a little bit. but it's good to have both of them back. They know what they need to do. They're used to the training. They're used to the work. So they look like they're both going to be ready to PR this season.
Right. Go into detail a little more on Seth. I know it's a new year, and what was accomplished in the past doesn't necessarily mean anything moving forward, but what he did last year at Outdoor Nationals to qualify for the finals and earn All-American in both events. Only 2 kids that were there did that as far as earning All-American in both hurdles events. That was quite an accomplishment for him, how he ended up last season.
Yes. I'm not going to say that it was a surprise, but it was pleasant. So going into the national championship, I don't think Seth was too sure that he could make the 110 finals, and he wasn't even confident in his time going in. So once we got there, and I think he got just the vibe. He was excited. He felt that energy. He knew he was ready to perform. Once the gun went off, he got out well. He got out extremely well. He led the race up until about the 8th hurdle until somebody caught him. But he did better than we expected. He had a new PR, new school record, and he was one of the fastest people going into the final. So when you have situations like that, sometimes people get complacent. Seth is not one of those guys. He's been working hard since the season started. He knows what he wants to do. He wants to run even faster, and he wants to place even higher. So he's putting in the work to get that done.
Good. And hopefully he'll have some company at the national meet this year. Back to events that don't require jumping over hurdles, the middle distance group. Let's chat about your middle distance group for this season.
Okay, so our middle distance group, Dustin Reynolds was able to place 2nd at indoor conferences last year. Prior to that, he's never been all conference in anything, so that was a pleasant surprise. But he's been working hard since day one. Same with this year. That's one person we know who's always going to come ready to just lay it all on the line, and it's definitely good to have somebody like that on the team. He sets a good example for his teammates. We also have Matthew, who's a freshman. He's from England. He's kind of like a 400-800 hybrid, but he's very strong, and he's been doing extremely well in his fall workout, so that's somebody that we think is going to impress a lot of people, and he's going to probably open some eyes. We also have a few more freshmen who ran extremely well in cross country. Chance Clipstein, his older brother, just graduated and ran the same event. I think he's going to be a pretty good 800 runner for us, and he may be able to get up there and work with those guys in the mile. We have a few other people in the mile who I think will be able to challenge or break that school record. That's actually my expectation. I'd like to see the 800 and 1500, the mile records broken this year. I would say that Shannon Milnickel has a good chance of breaking that record, probably Parker, and even Gabe as well.
Okay. And that brings us into some names you just mentioned. You might be mentioning again the long distance group. The races maybe aren't as long during indoor season, but during outdoor season, some opportunities for these guys. We talked about them during cross country a lot, but to talk about the longer distance group.
So the longer distance group, we pretty much have everybody back from last year. And last year that group really turned it up a notch in the later part of the indoor season, and especially outdoor. They were able to knock off the 3K and the 5K school records. Placed extremely well at conferences, and they impressed a lot of people, including myself. I think that we expect pretty much the same this indoor season. I expect the 3K record to be broken, the 5K record to be broken as well. By who? We don't know. Ben was able to break a record last year, Ben Willie, Cole Dudley, and also some of the freshmen. We just don't know where they're going to place or where they're going to be at, but there's going to be a lot of competition, and competition is healthy, especially when you're on a team.
Okay, then that takes us into the jumps. You've got someone that you think can make an impact there. So talk about, looks like Trent is someone you're looking to make an impact in the jumps.
Yeah, so I spoke about Trent earlier. He's been progressing and learning a lot of things. He did a little bit of long jumping and high jumping in high school, but I think that he's going to be a much better long jumper. Just the way that he moves the ground, he has a pretty good push-off. So once he gets all of the tools and pulls everything together, I think he'll be able to place in the long jump and, of course, get a PR for himself and possibly a school record.
And then that leaves us with the throws. Again, we say groups, but Nick Gilmore's kind of carried the load for the last couple of years. Talk about what you're looking for from Nick this year in the throws.
I'm looking for a little bit more from Nick this year. He was able to place outdoor in the discus, but I want to see him do a little bit better in the shot. And from the way he's been training this fall, it looks like he will. He's been extremely motivated. He's gotten stronger. He's gotten faster. He's gotten more explosive. His technique has gotten better, and his motivation is high right now. So I think he's definitely going to be in a good position to come in and PR and get on that medal stand.
Okay, and overall, the men's team well over 20 on the numbers, which building toward the eventual later higher number that I'm sure you want, but everything seems to be going in the right direction for the men's side.
Yes, last year at this time we talked about growing the men's team and just putting everybody in a position where they have to compete to run certain races, and I think we're getting to that point now. The 4x4 is probably going to be one of the more exciting races because we have 7 to possibly 8 people who can be on our A team. And all that's going to do is make those guys run faster. I definitely expect those guys to qualify for nationals in the relay and hopefully, make some noise, make themselves proud, make me proud, and make the school proud. And the same with the 4x8. We have a chance of having a pretty decent 4x8 team and a distance medley relay team as well. So as the season progresses, we'll see where we need to put certain individuals. And once we get those pieces in place, I think we'll be rolling.
All right, so that is the IU East men's track and field team for 2018-19. When we come back, we'll take a look at the women's team right here on Inside IU East Sports.
3 years ago, I came here to play basketball here at IU East, and I'm a business finance major, and I really just wanted to get into a bank, and First Bank Richmond was very accepting and gave me an opportunity. I kind of got to see more as an employee instead of a student athlete of how they really impact the community. Back home, I feel like there's really not an organization like First Bank Richmond that gives back to their community like they do here in Richmond. First Bank Richmond is just very generous in all that they do in the community, and that is tremendous.
What if a home phone could also be a smartphone? And what if that home phone could save you money on your home and wireless bill at the same time? With Xfinity Voice, you get amazing technology like readable voicemail on your smartphone, caller ID on your TV, and even text messaging, all for a low price. Start saving with unlimited nationwide talk and text and switch to Xfinity Voice for just $19.99 a month for 12 months. Call 1-800-XFINITY today.
Almost done.
Now you can pay your bill, manage your appointments, and check your connection status. Anytime, anywhere.
Oh, so you're protesting? Okay.
Introducing Xfinity My Account, available on any device.
Hi, I'm Kyle Tom with Caldwell Banker Lingle. I've been blessed to be a broker here in the Richmond-Wayne County community for over 25 years, and I love our community. I would like to take this time to thank you, my customers, clients, friends, and family, for giving me the opportunity and the support to be able to give back to the charitable organizations and youth activities in our community. If you're thinking of selling your home, join our team and help be a part of giving back to the youth in our community.
And welcome back to Inside IU East Sports. We're getting to know the 2018-19 IU East track and field teams with Coach Schmader. We just met the men's team. Now it's time to take a look at the women's team for the upcoming 2018-19 season. So, Coach, just as we did with the men's, we broke it down by event groups, so we'll do the same with the women's team. Let's start out with the short sprints, a bigger group than what you've had in past years there.
Yes, indeed. So we actually have 3, possibly 4 people who are going to be running in the short sprints group. We have Sarah Mallory returning from last year. She's our only returner in the sprints group. So we get a little bit of leadership, but it's mostly freshmen. So that's always fun. I guess in the 60, we have Kanaya Rush and Cordasia McBride. They're going to be running mostly the 60 and the 200. I think they'll be able to do extremely well once they knock off those freshman jitters, but they've been working hard throughout the fall and trying to put themselves in a position where they'll be a force to be reckoned with come the conference meet.
Okay. And those of you looking at some of the photos we have of some of the incoming, we haven't changed the school colors. We did manage to find some action shots of some of the incoming freshmen. So as you see these photos, that's where some of these athletes are coming from. So got the short sprints, the longer sprints. Talk about the athletes that are going to fill those roles.
Okay, so we have 4 more athletes than we had last year in this event group as well, which I'm pretty excited about. We have all freshmen, Sarai Sosa Perez from Puerto Rico. We also have Abby Bittner, who's going to be a little bit of a hybrid runner, who's going to be running the 4 and the 800. We have Kevaray Gillette, who's going to be running the hurdles and the 400. So we have a lot of hybrid athletes who are going to be doing running multiple event groups. So that should be pretty exciting, and I think we'll be pretty strong in those events by the time February rolls around. So there'll be a lot to look out for.
Okay. These next couple categories, as you mentioned, we might be repeating some of the same athletes with some of the hybrids, as you mentioned. So we'll talk about officially the hurdles group, which I know Kevray is going to be a big part of that.
Yes, I think Kevray will do extremely well in the hurdles. She ran well last year, and unlike the men, the hurdles don't go up. So her times translate extremely well to those who are in our conference and also at our national championship meet. If you convert her times from high school, she would definitely be a qualifier, so that's always fun. But nothing is a given. You have to work hard. You have to be able to execute, and that's something that we're working on. So I think when time comes, she'll be ready to perform at a high level.
Okay. You mentioned qualifier. This may be a good time to talk to some of our audience. They may be IU East fans, but maybe not necessarily track and field fans. And in so many sports, it's all going to nationals. It's all based on you do something at a conference or district meet, a certain place, and you go on. Not remotely that way in track and field. So maybe this would be a good time to explain how one goes about qualifying for these national meets.
Right. So to qualify for nationals for track and field, you have to run either the B or the A standard. The A standard is pretty much the automatic time. If you run that time at any meet throughout the indoor-outdoor season, you qualify for that prospective championship. If you hit the B standard, your name gets put on the descending order list. So if they decide to take 24 people and you're in the top 24, then you're able to go to the meet. So you always want to hit an A standard so that you get a guaranteed plane ticket and you're at the meet. But a B standard is good as well.
Right. And for the record, everyone from IU East that's ever hit a B standard has gone. So hopefully we don't break that trend if needed this year. So back to it, again, we may have some repeat names here, but the middle distance group for the women's team this year.
Okay, so we have Sarah Hornak returning, and last year she was able to be all-conference indoors in the 800, which we were very excited about. The year prior to that, she did not place. So we expect much of the same. She had a good cross-country season. She's strong, and she's ready to run even faster this year. We also have freshman Abby Bittner, who's going to be right up there with Sarah, I think. I think they'll both be ready to be all-conference by the time the meet rolls around. I'm pretty excited to watch them run. It's been fun watching Abby train this fall. She's very motivated. She's pretty excited, and I'm excited for her.
Okay. And then some of the names we're about to hear, we heard a lot about them during cross-country season, which was probably the best cross-country season on the women's side that IU East has had. So as we go into the long-distance group, talk about some of the kids that had a great fall that will hopefully have equally great winters and springs for you.
Indeed. So Ashley, we have returning. She just got back from nationals about 2 weeks ago. So we definitely expect more big things from her. She was able to get a PR in cross country, so we look for her to get PRs in the 3K and 5K and hopefully break her school records as well. We have a number of other people who ran well. Savannah Hart, she moved up in distance. She was more of a middle distance runner in high school, but she ran extremely well in cross. She was able to run some big PRs, so we expect big things from her, between the mile, possibly the 800 and the 3K. So we're not sure where she's going to exactly fit in, but we know whatever event she runs, she's going to do extremely well. Mackenzie also ran extremely well in cross country. She was part of that team that helped us get second place at cross country. She's going to be running between the 8, the mile, and the 3K as well. Mara, she's going to be in the mile and the 3K, and Brooke is going to be back. That's one of our upperclassmen from last year. She dropped her time tremendously this cross-country season. She's going to be running the 800 and the mile as well. So right now we have a number of people in a number of different events. We don't know exactly where they're going to be the best at. Oh, excuse me, I almost forgot about Ed Malik. She's from Puerto Rico as well. She's had a good cross-country season, had a few injuries, but overall she's been training hard. She's looking forward to track. She's very excited about track, and I'm excited for her. Like I said, whenever somebody's excited, it kind of motivates me. It gets my blood pumping because I think they're going to do well. So I think with the women, we're just going to have to sit back and wait and see what events they're going to do best in. But I completely expect us to break every record from the 800 to the 5K. It's just by who.
Good. That's good news going into the season then. So, and then one more group to get to, a couple high school teammates, if I remember right. Talk about your throws group on the women's side.
Yes, indeed. We have 2 high school teammates, both freshmen, of course. Jada Beck and Sheila Naku. So they're going to both be throwing the shot put and the weight throw indoor. I'm just kind of waiting for them to get on the track and get going. I know that they're going to do extremely well. I know that either one of them is going to break our school record. So it's all about who on what weekend. They've had a pretty good fall. Sheila's recovering from an injury right now, but Jada's been working all fall. She's been doing a lot of explosive work. She's even ran with the sprinters a little bit, so I know she's excited to really get back into that ring and throw more. So once the meets hit, that's when we're going to see, I guess, the magic happen with our throwers.
Okay. And you mentioned the weight throw. It's not part of Indiana's high school. Well, there is no Indiana indoor high school program. It's not part of the outdoor. Are they just naturals at it, or did they have a chance to work with that equipment during their high school careers in some form?
They have not worked with it at all in high school, so it's something that we just started working on when they got here. I think it's a pretty easy conversion for anybody that's thrown any of the long throws outdoor. Once you can get the movements down, controlling the weight, spinning around, I don't want to say it's simple, but it's adjustable. If you've thrown the discus, you understand what it feels like to rotate in a circle. And so far, they've been quick learners.
And then overall on the women's side, the numbers still building to the full numbers I think that you want to have on the roster, but a lot of good quality it looks like. So just kind of a few overall comments on the women's roster heading into this season.
Indeed. We've grown our roster slightly, which is something that we wanted to do, but we do have a lot of quality. I think the women coming in, they have pretty good high school PRs that will be able to make an impact in our conference and hopefully on the national level as well. So that's something that motivates us. But like I said, nothing is a given. We have to continue to work hard and continue to try to work to get to our level best. Track is an individual sport, so if you're not working hard to get yourself better, then you're not only hurting yourself, but you're hurting your team.
All right, so we've met both of the teams. When we come back, we'll go through the schedule for the IU East track and field team right here on Inside IU East Sports.
What can I do for you today?
My throat's been hurting all day and I have class in an hour.
Okay, let's get you feeling better.
Receive quality care without the wait. Read Health Now, right beside you.
Hi, how can I help you?
My daughter has a fever and she isn't feeling well.
Okay, let's get her feeling better.
Receive quality care within the comfort of your own home. Read Health Now, right beside you.
And welcome back to Inside IU East Sports. We're meeting the 2018-19 IU East track and field team. We've met all the athletes. Now let's take a look at the schedule with Coach Gus Schmader. So, Coach, we'll look at it kind of month by month. So it all gets underway December 1st with a visit to UND. Obviously, this is the indoor season. And also a short trip to Fort Wayne. So as we look at the December schedule, just what things are you looking for in these kind of icebreaker meets to get the season going?
Just that. They are icebreaker meets. So the first meet, I want to see everybody get out there and compete. And I also want to see them execute what they've learned so far. As far as times and performances, I don't want to say I don't know, but I don't want to put that expectation on anybody. I just want them to compete hard, run through the finish line, and execute. If we do that, I think we'll see, a few PRs and possibly a school record or two in these first two meets.
And then it's kind of your sport as well as basketball. It's interesting. You've got that finals week / holidays. You've got a month off, and then we'll look at the January schedule. A very busy month, a couple trips to Ohio, as well as a weekend there where part of the team will go to Tiffin and the other part will go to IU Bloomington. And you talked before we went on there that the Spire meet is going to be one that you're really going to be pointing at. So talk about the key things you'll be looking for at these January meets.
Okay, once we get back, we'll have about 9 days of practice prior to our first meet. That's going to be the meet where, we kind of shake the cobwebs off. They've been training, they've been at home. Conditions probably haven't been great for most of them to train. So we want to see where we're at and just kind of set ourselves up for the following weeks. The next week, we're going to split our team. Half is going to go to Tiffin, half is going to go to Bloomington. During that week, we really want to make some noise. We want to get our relay teams on the track and see how fast they can run on a bank track. We also want everybody else to get a chance to compete at a high level, and that Tiffin meet is pretty good. It was a good meet for us last year. We had a number of school records, so even though we're going to be split, I expect the same. Good performances, fast runs, big throws, big jumps from both groups. The Spire meet, that meet is outside of Cleveland, so it's going to be a pretty big trip for us. It's a 2-day meet. It's an overnight meet. They have a 300-meter track, and it's one of the better facilities in the country. By then, I expect everybody to be in really good shape, and everybody really should expect to run fast, to throw far, and to jump far by then. That's when I'm going to be looking for the fireworks. I want to see PRs. I want to see a number of school records. I want to see national qualifiers at that meet.
Okay. Then February, that's when all the championship meets are, so the conference meet as well as hopefully many people going to the national meet. A couple other competitions in there as well, so just talk about the keys to February.
So our first meet in February is a week prior to conferences, so that's going to be more of a fine-tuning meet. We're not going to load up. We'll just run a handful of events. Those that need to, whether work on their starts or get an extra run in, we're going to do that week and just prepare for conferences the next week. And obviously the conference championship, we're going to go out there and look to do our best. We want to, of course, have a number of conference champions and all conference performers. I think if the season goes well, if we continue to work hard and continue to execute and stay dedicated and work on our craft, we'll have a pretty good performance. I'm not going to predict any places or anything like that, but I definitely expect the team to run well and compete well, and that's going to be pretty exciting. The following meets, that's going to be a last chance meet. So for those that are qualified for nationals already or those who are close, we're going to go up to the University of Michigan. This is going to be the second season that their indoor facility is open. Last year we had 3 people go up there. This year hopefully we have far more than that. It's going to be much like the championship. We want to go there. We want to run fast, hopefully get more people qualified for nationals, and just get ready for the indoor championship meet.
And then most of the outdoor schedule is kind of TBA, but there is one big one we want to let our viewers know about, and IU East will be hosting the Outdoor Conference Championships for the first time. It'll be at Eaton High School, a lovely facility just down the road in Ohio. Coach, just tell folks why they need to be sure to clear their calendars now and get out to this meet.
This is going to be a pretty exciting meet. It's the first time that the River States Conference is going to have a 2-day outdoor championship meet. And with having a 2-day meet, it'll give the kids more time to rest. So you should expect faster performances. And I think we'll be able to get national qualifiers from a number of schools at this meet right here. So if you want to come out and see your Red Wolves run fast and see good competition and see just an intense track meet, that'll be the meet to come to for outdoor.
Okay, I'll leave you the final word. We've met the team. We've looked at the schedule. For those who are track and field athletes' perspective, maybe watching this show, why should they want to be a part of this program moving forward?
Well, you would want to be a part of this program because we're a vehicle moving fast in the right direction. We're fired up, ready to run, and extremely motivated. So if you're looking to be in a place where the team is progressing, they have conference champions, national qualifiers, and they're just really excited about track and field, IU East is the place to be.
All right, it all sounds good. We look forward to everything getting started on December 1st. You can look at the whole schedule at IUERedWolves.com. We thank you so much for joining us on this week's episode of Inside IUE Sports, and we'll see you next time.